how big was your why for country living? So start with Damaki, then Namachegeja.
Good evening, sirs. My name is Isaac Maki, and I'm here to give a testimony for what we have been discussing and my journey from where I heard about the issue of country living and where I am at the moment. My journey started, I think, way back 2016, 2015 rather, 2015, 2016. It's when I used to follow the current events and mingle with what the Lord has shown us through the spirit of prophecy. So 2016, 2017, it's when I opened up my eyes and understand the importance of country living. In fact, we have been heard about these teachings from 2010. You remember at the time we had Eden Live TV. We used to watch the Mark Woodman from South Africa. He used to teach present truth from 2006, 7, mostly 2008 up to 2010. Yeah, so it was in 2016 that I opened up my eyes. Since after the event that happened in America, you remember in 2015, visited America and I spoke to 2 houses at one time. I was following those events. It's when I saw the turning of events. No, I think this is the time to get some land. But there was no vigor that time for the decision. And you remember Dr. Madzalo was telling at least we should start with something. He showed us a plain pact that at least when you are parked, there's no hope to take off. But when you hit the runway, actually you have the hope that at least any time you can take off. So when 2017, 2018 is when I thought of start at least with something, and that was my job, because I've been working with the military and my job has been hostile and busy most of the time. I've been running up and down, no time to worship, no time to actually serve the Lord. And I thought of, no, I need to create time for myself and my family and to do the work of the Lord. So in 2018, I applied for a retirement, and it wasn't that easy. You know, Malawi, the way they treat people. Until 2019, by God's grace, I was allowed to go freely. So it was 30 November, I retired. Now I was looking for a land. I had the passion to get the land so that at least I can shift myself. So 2020 is when I started physically looking around where I can get a place, at least a country place. But I couldn't find the place that was suitable for my expectations, as others has already testified yesterday. So it was in 2021, actually, I traveled to different parts of Malawi. In fact, my preferences was not to go to the northern part of Malawi because I was feeling it was far from my home village. So I thought I should get a place at least somewhere within the southern part of Malawi. But the challenge was that I could not find the place that I really wanted to, the quality or whatever that I wanted. I wanted a place that should be mountainous, number one. I wanted a place should be at least in a forest, a good forest for environmental issues. And those places, to get such a place, it was not easy. While I was looking the place, we were on the same group, a WhatsApp group with Dr. Madzalo, and he offered that there's a land here suitable for actually country living dwellers. There's no monkeys, there's such. I said I was interested because it was the same time that I've been hunting the land. So I contacted him privately, and he said, no, I cannot say the land is good for you because we see differently. What are my preferences? I cannot be yours. So if you are interested, just make a trip, come and see. And I really made a decision to come. I had a friend, Dr. Kapula. He joined me. Actually, that was 2021. We visited Dr. Madzalo that time, and he showed us the land. We appreciated, and I liked the place. The challenge was it was still far. I went back. Actually, I didn't buy that time. I just appreciated. Then I was thinking, if I have to buy that place, what can I do there if I go there? I was looking possibilities of, what we have learned, that we need at least to have industries. So I was looking at the land, the place, the area, what kind of industries can I do when I go there. So that was a challenge I was still requiring, actually thinking of making a decision to buy. I didn't buy that time because I had no money, really, but and also I was thinking the other side, that what should I do? It's when one day he offered. He told me that there's a certain guy has offered us a land. It's very good. There's a river there, and where he is as well. So I was interested with the land, the way the description was. I had to board a bus another day and come and see, and I paid the installment to that land. That was 2021. I went back to Zomba. And Zomba, I was farming. After retirement, I was doing farming. And I wanted to tell you something, that my plan was after retirement, I should be a farmer. I'll be farming while serving the Lord, and I've been farming. My farming type was irrigation. I was interested in irrigating. I was producing beans. And 2020, it was okay. I bought everything. I was doing it, and there was a success. But the change of government in Malawi, policies and the like, you see, fuel has been going up every day. So every year, you find the price of fuel raising up to the point that it was scarce, and the policies now you cannot buy in jerry cans, and that affected much on my business of agriculture. It's when I had to think otherwise. Then I said, okay, I have a land, and why should I bother here? And I have to do something. It's when last year I had the zeal that I think this is the time to move. I want to agree with his presentation that we should not do and rush. We should not go the country rushing. There's God's time always. As long as we wish, as long as we put everything in God's hands, God has the proper time to do everything. So last year, December, is when we made up our mind with my wife, and we came to Chinteche, where we got a place. And there we came, he received us, he kept us in his home. It was heavily raining by the time, and still we had to start doing something at our place. So it was, I should say, December 29, I should say January 1, January 2, January 3 is when I started develop this year. I went there January and February, March, and I have seen and I've learned a lot of lessons. That, in fact, in March I went back to Zomba because my wife and family are still in Zomba. There I made friends. What have you seen? I have a lot of lessons that I've learned only in few months. So at the moment, I am here, and I'm still developing. Actually, I'm building a simple house, just a small one, that at least after finishing it, I'm going to relocate my whole family to Chinteche to start living a country life. So I would like to encourage you all, and those who are have not yet made up their mind. Country living is a real thing, but it's not easy. to make a decision, you cannot just jump to make a decision to go to the country. First decisions, there's a certain devotional. Ellen White said, the topic said, first things first. Yeah, so whatever we are doing, wherever we are, we should always take the first step, and that is to make up your mind, believe in the teachings that indeed God has the provision to give us whenever we are dedicated to Him. So I just wanted to encourage those people who are still deciding, make up your mind, start doing something. And you can start by either getting a small land, or you can start by inquiring. God still can give you a land that is proper for you. What I've discovered, the issues of distance from where I am and here, is that God has got the place for you and me. We may have our wishes, we may have our preferences, but God is going to give us a land that will help us to sustain our life whenever need is there. So that is my simple testimony about my experiences. At the moment, I'm just a few months old now in the country, but I have a lot of lessons that I've learned so far. We have learned the difficulties. We have learned that God always has a hand to His people. So I should end there my testimony so that I should not exhaust your time, sir. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
It's wonderful to be here. It's good to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity that I can share my testimony. My name is Gift Namachegeja. I was not born an Adventist, and it's not long that I've been an Adventist. I think it was in 2007 when I was baptized. And basically, I've been a standalone from when I finished my Form 4. That's when I decided to move out of my father's house. And I was doing things on my own. And I've been like that even when I was doing my tertiary education. It was when my dad had retired, and I was paying my school fees on my own after doing whatever I was doing. I've been a person who enjoys playing with soil. That has been something part of me. But besides that, before I was an Adventist, I would say I was doing medical missionary work without knowing that I'm doing medical missionary work. What happened? Back then I had a heart problem, which troubled me a lot, to an extent that I reached to a point whereby I said I will no longer take medicine. But I had no idea where I was going with this. So, such kind of thing, parents will not just take it easy, right? But I made up my mind, and then, lucky enough, I met a mother selling books. And the first book I bought because of my problem was Healthy Foods. That was the book which I bought. And then I was busy reading about the heart, and I started doing the small things from that book, and that was the turning point of my heart problem. So it, when you've got the intended result, it motivates you, and So I was busy now just doing that, and then I was a vegetarian, so to say, by then. And the time I was joining Seventh-day Adventist, I never knew of medical missionary, but at home they used to call me Wama Hebs. And by then I could assist people from different parts, and of course the family. So when I entered into the church, I never even knew I've been in church maybe for about 3-4 years without knowing anything about medical missionary. Then a time came when some missionaries came to our church for 1 week training of medical missionary. And when they were in front explaining things, I was like, that I do. But why is it that is not that promoted in our church? But I was so keen. Then the enthusiasm grew, and I was like, I need to know more of this. So after that training, they said we usually have trainings for 1 month, 1 year. So when we organize ourselves, we can even invite people from here that you come. I registered that whenever you are having that training, please, I'm one of them. So they said fine. And I remember the time they were announcing for the training, they announced, I knew a week before the commencement of the training. By then I had no money at all. So when I heard, I was now starting. The first day I heard that the training is next week, I went home, washed my clothes, my bag packed, and the bag was already packed. So I started now looking for money, but my bag is already what? Packed. So I started looking for money, and I couldn't find money till the day the training is like to begin tomorrow. Then this other friend came to my rescue. He says, I'll borrow you money to and from. I was like, wow. Then I started and I went. It was in Rumpi, Mpungizi then. So when I was there, and they started learning. I didn't learn much because that back then they were preparing for, they had a meeting, they were calling it meetup. So I didn't learn much in my 1 month because of that. But then my interest in this was just growing. So when I returned, I continued from where I was, and then I started to search with the books that I got from Mpungizi, and then I registered with the Light in America. So what I did with them, it was even hard for me to be online. So I asked them if they have something. So they said, we've got a package of DVDs. Maybe you can just buy that. So I bought and started studying medical missionary from them. So after that, that means now the Light now is now full. You remember I was already doing it, but ungobanga chintu isagu jidziwe. So now the Light came, and then I started pursuing. So I was alone to have the decision to say I want to go to country. It wasn't that hard because I was just alone. I wasn't married then. The hard part was I'm the only Adventist home. So to get the message to my parents, that was a part that was hard. But as I was thinking about it, I had already started to develop a land in Zomba, my home place. It was a very beautiful land. And then I was like, maybe I can just be in Zomba, have my sanitarium there, and do everything. But then when there was a time I went, and then I found that the whole village has been electrified, and I was like, wow, town is coming here, so I can't be here. So when I was contacting my friends in Mpungizi, they were like, why can't you come and assist in the ministry of teaching? And I was like, I have no problem to come and teach. So I went to Mpungizi with nothing then, and I remember I started in a tent. So I was busy teaching voluntarily, and then learning some other things, how they were doing some other things. And lucky enough, I happened to find a place outside Pungizi Institute, and it was a blessing also that during the same time I happened to find um, the lovely girl that I have now as my wife, Kate. Then she was at Polytechnic, and then that's how I kind of my journey has been. I'm still settling because of the work that I had. I used to travel a lot, and so I will start a thing. When you go back, you find everything like you're starting all over. So that was the kind of thing that was happening. But at least I can't say when I was there I suffered a lot. Despite that, we've got monkeys because I had some of the things that I do, like I don't believe in planting a large area, as he said. So I could only make sure that I eat for the day. So I plant that, and that for my plate, and that's all I was doing. But now at least we've got a very big land. We are still developing it, planting. We've got a land that it is able to accommodate macadamia nuts. So we are busy putting macadamia nuts and some other fruits right now. And I enjoy sugarcane. So I happen to be growing sugarcane as well, but in the mountains. So it's about watering, but it's happening. So I praise God for the journey He has taken me through. In a nutshell, to say that's my testimony. Amen.
All right, thank you so much for the motivating stories. One thing that I'm learning every time I'm hearing a story, you can see that everybody's journey is unique and different, isn't it? So it means your journey is basically your journey. You know, you are not competing with anybody else. You have your own unique blessings and your own unique challenges. So just enjoy the journey. All right, welcome back to our lesson part 2 of country living and home industries. And this other word, familypreneurs, it's just some people coined it, trying to define a family that is working together. And of course, with that concept of minding your own business or doing your own business. Just a recap of yesterday's topic, we shared this thought that what you believe is more powerful than what you know. And at the end of the day, you become what you believe. And we went through these belief systems that some, notice they are not the only ones, but they are some of the belief systems that makes people to become poor when they go to the country. Not because they are supposed to be poor, but we cover this in like misunderstanding the word simplicity, spiritualized begging, believing that we go to the country to practice the time of trouble, believing that money is only found in the city, and believing that all we need to do is preaching and nothing else. So those belief systems, we covered them yesterday, that there are some of the things, for those of us who have lived in the country for some years now, we have experienced that they are contributing to the reason why some people may be poor even after being in the country for 8 years at a vast fertile land with rivers and all the natural resources. And we also cover that it begins with the right mindset while you are still living in the city. After all, country living is something that you first have in your heart while you are in the city, even before you start searching for land. So the body, the action that you do, they just follow what you believe. And One of the most beautiful things to believe in is believing that country life is a beautiful life for you and your family, even if it means you are going to live there for 100 what? Years. It must never be considered as a refugee camp where you are going to live temporarily because you are waiting to go somewhere. Because if you stay there for so long, for sure you'll be longing to what? To go back. Because we have never seen refugees who are comfortable living at a refugee camp. They are always longing to go back home. So you will be longing to go back home, but it has to be a beautiful place so that even if you have to live there longer, you'll be happy. And you also need to make it a beautiful home. And I'm not talking about a luxury house, but I'm talking about the environment, the natural environment, even if you are living in a mud house. Make it beautiful so that your children who are growing there, when they grew up, they will desire to live in the country. The children should not look up to the day when they are going to be 19 years old and they are going to run away. But they should actually say, if I'm going to be a mother, if I'm going to be a father, this is the environment that I would like to live. So we need to make it a model home and make it beautiful enough to be desired. So after yesterday's lesson, I just want to ask you now this straightforward question. Do you have the right mindset? I'm asking you now. Do you have the right mindset? Are you sure? So we can go to part 2. You know, I'm asking this question because I remember some years back I went to another group like this. And when we were talking about the home industries as a part of true education, some of them were upset because they said we came here. It was actually in the countryside, in the southern region. They were saying we came here to suffer, and now you are telling us to do industries. You know, they even blamed the guy who invited me for bringing apostasy to their country home because I went there to tell them to do industries when they went there to suffer. So I don't want to make the same mistake this afternoon to be talking to you when you came here to suffer. You know, you are prepared to go to the country to suffer, and I'll be telling you about industries, and from here you get upset. You know, you regret you came here. So now that you say you have the right mindset, let's move on to part 2 then. It's not going to be a long one, but maybe it may get long with your comments. This familypreneur, what is it? It's a business model that secures family unity, understand that, acquires good life and business skills. So this is something that one can start even while they are still in the city. Some may start it while they have moved to the country. So where you are doesn't actually limit you from starting. In fact, as I said on the first lesson, when you are in the city and you shift to do your own business, you have the freedom to move as God is leading you. There's nothing to hold you when you become, when you start running your own business. So that text, this is our leading text, and that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. And I'm sure if Paul was writing this text in today's language, he could have said, and be entrepreneurs, isn't it? You know, be an entrepreneur, run your own business. And it says, as we commanded you. And he is also telling us the reason why, that you may walk honestly toward them that are without, and that you may have lack of nothing. So you can see that we serve God who wants us to have enough to sustain ourselves. And some people, they think we serve a God who enjoys to see us suffering. and to see us starving. But really, starvation and suffering are part of the trials that we face in this life. We don't invite them, they always come. But we serve a mighty God who loves us, and he wants us to lack nothing. And he said, we did also read this text, Ezekiel 27:13. They of the family of Togama traded in their affairs with horses and horsemen and mules. And from this text, and also the following text, where Paul also is sharing is telling us that he was a tent maker. We learned that in the Jewish culture, and some Jewish people are still doing it until today, the business belongs in the family, and each family is known by a trade that they are doing. I want to read, one day I was teaching a medical missionary class in Kigali, and the light curriculum that you did, it also had a topic of true education. So there was a day I was teaching true education, and there was a gentleman who was sitting like where Chisare is sitting. He was just quiet. He never asked any question that day, but he was a very talkative guy, someone who was always asking questions all the time. But this day when I was teaching true education, he just kept silent to the end. He never said anything. Then the next morning when he came back for another class, he said, yesterday after listening to your class on true education, I decided to give you this book. So he gave me this book as a gift. He published this book himself. Now for him, it was the first time he heard about true education. And he was a retired cabinet minister, and he also worked for UNESCO. And those of you know UNESCO, they are the guys who developed the system of education that we have today, isn't it? So he was an expatriate. He worked in different countries for UNESCO, developing these systems of education decades ago. So now he's about 70-something years old. He retired. The time I met him, he was the president of ASI in Rwanda. So he came to attend this medical missionary training. Now, what made him to keep quiet and silent is that after he retired, just recently, a few years ago, he reflected on the system of education, what it is doing in Africa, and he did his own research. Then he came up with the conclusion that if Africans will have a future, the system of education need to change. And this quotation that I'm reading here is actually from this book. It says, we live in an information age where knowledge is freely available in the public domain, so that today you don't need to go to school to know what is Nile River, where is the Shira River. You can find all that on Google. While in our time, it was necessary for you to go to school to know Mulanje Mountain. So it's not necessary anymore. So he said, however, what is urgently required is to provide our children with learning environments that enable them to explore and exercise their imagination and creativity through practical trades and project-based activities. Now, when he was publishing this book, he was writing as an appeal to policymakers, to governments in Africa, to understand that the system of education that we have is now outdated because the job market is not there anymore. It's a time children should start learning trades. And then he was shocked because he's a Seventh-day Adventist and he never heard anything about true education. So he was shocked that what he published in his book, Ellen White wrote about it over 100 years ago. So that's why he was puzzled when I was presenting from Ellen White about true education, that I thought I discovered something. I thought I did the deep research on something, but these things are already in our what? In our books as a Seventh-day Adventist. So This is actually what was some of the things that he wrote in this book, which is called The Foundation. It's another quotation. He said, "The future belongs to the children who are going to be trained in useful skills, creativity, innovations, and providing solutions." That was when he was done with his research. He discovered that, these other courses that are there that the universities are offering, they are no longer going to be useful for this child, for this generation. Now, if you want to prepare a child for this generation, you need to shift from the old style of education to the new way of educating the children. So he wrote this book and he gave it even to his president and to other leaders because he's connected at that level, hoping that maybe they are going to understand this and consider changing the system of educating the children. But the World Economic Forum, they just also said recently that by 2027, 83 million jobs will be replaced by technology. So I feel very bad that some of the things that the people are studying in the universities, accounting, this and that, times are coming when you never need an accountant to count your money. You just need the software. You put it in your laptop, on your phone, it will do all the accounting for you. So this is where the world is going. It will just delete most of the jobs that are there. Most of and I think this is what the World Economic Forum is saying. Said the first ones to go be the bank tellers, and the digital currency is coming. So with the digital or with Airtel money, do you need a bank teller? You don't. So we are already using the digital money slowly, but the moment the digital money becomes the norm, you really don't need bank tellers. And there are some African countries where they're using more digital money than we do here in Malawi. And they say also secretaries, already they have started disappearing now. Today, if you get a job at a company, an NGO, they give you a laptop, they give you car keys. It means you're a driver, you're a secretary, isn't it? They don't employ secretaries that much anymore. And said accountants, these jobs are also disappearing. Ticket sellers, data entry teams, stock keeping clerks, payroll clerks, these will become software jobs. So they said these will be the first ones to go, but 83 million of them are going to disappear. That's what they are actually predicting. So you can see why there is actually a need for a mindset shift, even in the way that we are educating our children and preparing them to live productively in this life while also preparing them for eternity. As Mrs. Mandula, I think she has said it over and over again that true education, it has to be balanced. So yes, we are preparing them for heaven, but they also need to be useful in which life? In this life as well. So this model, what is it then? A system where you build your business around your family instead of building your family around your business. That's what we call familypreneur. It's a system where you are building your business around your family instead of building your family around your business. For example, one can say, I am a businesswoman. So you go everywhere, but by being a businesswoman, you are too busy that your family start becoming like some kind of a background music just to spice your business. You literally don't have time for your family. But when you are doing it as a familypreneur, I don't know what has happened. Okay. If you're doing it as a familypreneur, what happens is that, the business will save the family, not the family saving the business. So let me also explain further. When you say you're a familypreneur, you don't work for the family, you work together with the family. That's the difference between being a businessman, a businesswoman, and a familypreneur. Because anybody can have a business at home, but it may be maybe the father doing it, the mother doing it, and the children, they don't even know what you are doing. And here in Malawi, we are very good with that. You start a business, you can name it the name of your son, David and Sons. But David doesn't know what you do. It is you who know what you are doing. Your children, your child is just the name of the what? The business. You take his name, but he doesn't know what you are doing. So yes, you have whatever project that you are doing from home, but it's only the mother who knows what she's doing. The father doesn't know. So there's this kind of competition of time where you don't have time for your children, for the family, because you're running a business, and you are also feeling, I am working for the family. But in this model, you don't work for the family, you work together with what? With the family. So in other words, the business unites you, it doesn't actually separate you. So the business unites the family instead of dividing the family. And this is actually the biblical model that we have been reading from the Bible. And I think we have also seen this model from other cultures as well. So what you do, it must unite you together. It must make you to be more close with each other. It must not divide you. You must not become too busy that there's actually no time for each other. And this is something that myself I've also just learned recently. I think it was mostly towards the end of last year. I've been keeping a book I was actually talking with Eda Mandula that we have been keeping these books in our bookshelves for so long. And it's just now this year that we have started implementing this concept, this model at our home. So if you haven't started it, you are not alone. We are all learning together. But the most important thing is to what? To start. So we have just started implementing this model at our home, where we said, no, we want to now to do industries that we can work together as a family, and it is not going to divide us, but it is going to unite us. So running our own business and do it together with the children, that's actually the model for familypreneur. And we can learn from the Indians. We can also learn from the Jews, because that's what a business does to them. It binds the family together. It makes them best friends. It makes them to be close to each other. And it also helps them really to spend more time together, because there are actually good reasons why you need to do that. So when you're a familypreneur, it means a family working as a unit towards the common goal. One, by working together, doing what you love as a family. And this is where you find joy and happiness, because the happiness of the family is not necessarily in the profit. It is actually in the joy of doing things together. When you are doing a business, you make a profit or loss, isn't it? That's why those who are studying accounting, they study profit and what? And loss, because they know that losses are inevitable when you are doing a business. Everyone who is here who has done a business, you have made some losses sometime. So you always have to work on, but the joy comes when you are working together. And then in a family business, it's getting paid by doing what you love. So, people who find joy and happiness are those who follow their passion, who do what they like, who do what they love. And they find fulfillment by doing what you love. What you love is something that you can enjoy doing it even if nobody pays you. That is what is called a passion. Something that you can happily do it even if nobody what? Pays you. But when they pay you, it becomes an added blessing. So for example, you do some kind of service, but if you enjoy it, you can even do it to someone who is poor, who cannot afford to pay you, but you are happy you have done it. And of course, the family business, the other thing is also it's making a difference in people's life, which is ministry, which can come either from the service that you are offering or from the income that you are generating from the business. Then because you are working as a team, you also share the rewards of the teamwork. And one of the most important reward that comes from working together as a family is character and of course life skills. Not necessarily money, even though money can also be part of that. So the Japanese, they also talk about the same thing, but they use the word ikigai, meaning that the reason why I wake up in the morning. Now, in the ikigai, this is what the Japanese say. You need to know what you love, which is actually basically your passion, which should define your mission. Know your strength, what you are capable of doing, the skills that you have, and then you need to understand what the world needs. Then also understand how you can get paid by doing what you love. You see, there are many people who have talent and skills. They can do crafting amazingly and decorate their house, but they don't know how they can actually get paid by doing what they love. I had a friend in secondary school who could draw your face. You just sit there, you take a pencil and start drawing, and you see your face on the paper. But he ended up being a minibus driver. He was so talented, but he didn't know how he could make money or get paid by doing this thing that he was passionate about. So doing what you love, what does it mean? I think it's Sister Mandula, who was sharing a story of her daughter, who loves working with the natural things. Passion, that's the passion, doing what she loves, and then her strength, she's making products, and then she has to understand what the world needs. People, they want to have a healthy skin, they have got skin conditions, they need this and that. Then using what she loves and her strength, she's making what the world needs, and she's selling that. She's getting paid by doing what she loves. So that is what is called ikigai. You are following your passion, but you are using that passion to get paid and to have an industry. So as a family, you need also to find your ikigai if you are to work together. So familypreneurs, the family members are driven by what they want to accomplish together and not by what they want to get individually. Does that sound like true education? You can see the spirit of competition is not what? It's not there. Family members are driven by what they want to accomplish together and not by what they want to get individually. By pulling together towards one direction as a strong team with a common purpose, each family member uses their God-given talent to accomplish the common family project. So this is also called a project method. So you have a project, but all family members may not have the same talents. Another family member may be good at marketing, another family member may be good at baking, and the one who bakes will need this one who knows how to market so that you are getting sales for the bread. So it's like different skills and different talents in the family are used to accomplish the common mission or the common project of the family. So in the Indian cultures, like here in Malawi, I think this comes natural because I think they are trained that way, isn't it? I think they are trained that way. I remember the other time when I was still a student in South Africa, I was coming back home for a holiday in a public transport. So I was sitting next to an Indian girl who was also coming from school in South Africa for holiday, very talkative Indian girl. For the first time, I saw the talkative one. So we talked all the way, and she was telling me about her family and what they do. And she was studying at the University of Cape Town Business Management. So I asked her a question: when you graduate, where are you going to work? And then she laughed. She looked at me and she laughed. And she asked me a question: have we ever seen an Indian woman working in Blantyre at any office anywhere? Then I said, no, I've never seen that. Then she said to me, we Indians, women, we do go to university, we get degrees. But whatever my husband will be doing, that will be my job. So when I get married, the business of my husband, that's my business. If he's running a hardware, that will be my business. I will be a business administrator of that hardware. That's why I'm studying business administration. It is to support whatever my husband will be doing, that will be my employment. So you never find me at the National Bank. You never find me anywhere. We run family businesses. So, that time I never had a clue of true education and all these things that we are talking about. I just thought this is the Indian thing. They love it that way. But now that we are being baptized in these concepts of true education, we understand that those guys, they may not have all the truth that we have, but they do certain things right. So I was impressed really with her response. And you could see that she was really happy to go to university knowing that she will work with the husband that she doesn't even know at that time. And that would be her employment. So they say in their culture, a boy child is actually prepared to own a trade because she's going to have a business partner who is going to be the wife. So in the culture for a boy, the father will have to groom you to run a trade. So because you can't get married and have your wife going to the office somewhere, she has to work with you. So that was really an amazing conference. So family members, they complement and complete each other instead of competing with each other. And I think you know what is happening in most marriages today. There's a serious competition. It's a butter bullets and wanderers, between the wife and the husband. Everyone is pulling on their own direction. They are competing almost in everything because they are together but not together. By working together, they are able to accomplish what they could not have accomplished if each one of them was working alone. So that's what a teamwork is all about. When you are working as a family, and all of you are coming with your skills and your talents to accomplish one thing, by doing it together, you are able to accomplish what you could not have accomplished if each one of you was working alone. Now, when I was installing this electric power at our home, I learned some true education lesson there. It was my first time to be exposed to this. What you see in the middle here is called a flywheel. This is the most powerful thing that actually moves this machine that produces electricity. But the flywheel cannot move without the motor. Now, it is possible to connect this motor directly to this engine, but this motor will burn in 24 hours. But if the motor works together with the flywheel, it can run for 4 months and produce electricity 24/7. Now, when these two things are working together, they are able to accomplish what they could not have accomplished if each one of them was on its own. The flywheel on its own, it cannot move. The motor on its own, it will burn. But together, they are so powerful that they can move this machine and it can make electricity. And it just, connected in my mind on how really a family should work. That there has to be that codependence where you depend on each other to succeed. And knowing that our success depends on the teamwork, working together as a team. As I said, in our typical African Malawian way of living, if the father has a business, that is really his business. The wife doesn't even know what the husband is doing, and if the wife is also having a business, that's her business, and the husband doesn't know, and the children are the worst. They are just on the spending side. Daddy, I need pocket money. Dad, I need this. Dad, I need that. But in those other cultures, like the Jews, for example, even a child, when he's working for a family business, they will give them their salary, and they'll be buying their gadgets and everything from their own pay by working in the family. So familypreneurs, for you to become a familypreneur, number one, as parents, you need to look at your family as a team. Stop playing golf. Play a game that you can all play together. So look at a family as a team, and as a team it means, you depend on each other. You count on each other, and you value each other, and you are able to see the talents within the family and how they can contribute to the success of the family business. And think as a team. Think as a team. It means sit on the table. Don't be a foreman. You just tell everyone what to do. You jump, you sit, you go there. But sit on the table and plan, the business together. Discuss the business together. What can we do as a family? And allow even the children to share what? Their ideas. How they want that. Because by doing that, what are you teaching them? When you allow the children to contribute their ideas on how that family business should run, what are you teaching them? Entrepreneurship, but also teaching them how to think, isn't it? You are teaching them to become thinkers. Instead of just say, oh, you go there, go there, go there. This is the traditional parenting, kutruma. But you, in addition to that, let them know that they are also the thinkers. Let them see the product of their thinking, because you are now building their confidence when they can think about something, and as a family you implement it together and they see the fruits of what they were thinking. You are building self-confidence in them. So live like a team, and this is really a very beautiful way. If we know how most of the teams live, but living like a team is to create more ways of nurturing emotional bond in the family, like eating together, praying together, doing Bible study together, and socializing together. Brother Namachege was actually giving a story here that most of us parents of today, of this generation, we actually don't consider our children as our friends. So when weekend comes, what I was saying, where can I drop you? Where can I drop you? As if the child is a bag of potato to be dropped somewhere. And then the Pathfinder Club has become a daycare, isn't it? It's just a place where parents are looking for someone to look after for their children for free while they are having a good time over the weekend. So a Pathfinder teacher is just someone who is doing, daycare for the children. But the best place for these children to be is to be with who? With their parents. I was fascinated the other day. I think I was reading the book of Dr. Moore. He was saying that in Japan, when a child is born in the royal family, he lives with his parents for the first 12 years and not with anyone else, so that he can learn how kings live like. They will not send that child anywhere else. You will be with the parents. So he learns how to live like a royal somebody. So you can understand that there are people out there who are practicing what we are trying to learn, and yet they don't have the light that we have. So when you also work as a team, as I said earlier on, when you work as a team, there is a lot that you can accomplish together, which you could not have accomplished if each one of you was working on their own. And we can also learn lessons from nature. That there are some wild animals out there that are very good at implementing this teamwork. I'm not sure, Elder, if we are able to put that video. Maybe you can help me to put it. I just want to show you a short video from nature, how some animals have learned very quickly how to work as a family and as a team before we humans have learned. So anyway, through education, we also learn from the book of nature. So we're going to see a short video. It's a 3-4 minutes video of some wild animals who have understood the principle of working as a team. And I've also observed over the years that, some of you have also learned the same, that when you work together with the children, even if it's just domestic work, manual work, and you are doing things together, there is always a very good friendship between the parent and the child. So doing business together, it actually makes that friendship even stronger. And it also builds trust, but the children, they also learn to be dependable. That's actually the beauty of that. Because some of us, we don't depend on our children anymore. We may actually be scared of them. You cannot leave your wallet with your son. You may trust the security guy than your own child. But the problem is that those things the children were never trained to be depended upon from a very young age. But when you start working together with a child, the children, they learn to be dependable because you give them responsibilities. Go and order those things. Go and get those things. Go and get those things. That's why we can see that these Indians, they can retire and leave the entire business in the hands of their son because they trust the son. They know that their son will not run away with the millions, but some of us, we Africans, can we do that? You don't trust your own daughter, your own son with anything that you have because you are afraid they may waste it simply because we never educated them to depend on it. I think it's almost ready, so let's watch this documentary and we'll get back to it.
In the wild bushlands of Africa, there are some extraordinary creatures whose skills are the stuff of legends. In this lesson from the wild, we compare individual predator behavior with team behavior, using the African wild dog as our example. The cheetah, an intelligent and cunning hunter, is the fastest animal on the planet and can reach speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour as it runs down its quarry. The lion is also a skilled hunter, not as fast as the cheetah, but far more powerful. However skilled these individuals may be, nature reminds us that success cannot be measured in the execution of a single knockdown. The battle must be won day after day after day. As effective as these great hunters might be, their success rate is never 100%. The cheetah may be the fastest, but she's a sprinter, not a marathon runner. and she tires quickly. On a good day, lion can take down prey twice their size, and a zebra like this can feed a pride for 3 days. But things don't always go their way. This injured lioness won't be able to hunt with a broken leg. For her, it's going to be a long wait for her next meal. The solo hunter can use her agility and her cunning to stake her claim in the market. But can she defend what she has struggled so hard to gain? Victory does not always go to the swiftest or the strongest. Being a solo player has its limitations. There is, however, a predator that is different. He is Africa's team player. He is the wild dog, and all creatures who know him fear him. The wild dog is fast, but not the fastest. Strong, but not the strongest. Yet their success rate is the highest of all predators. Experience and nature has taught the wild dog that teamwork is a prerequisite for success. Teamwork means more than occupying a common space, and the African dogs demonstrate a quality of team behavior that is a lesson to us all. In the wild, no creature is immune to the whims of fate. Hunting in rough terrain at high speeds, bringing down prey, and fighting with other animals means that injuries are never far away. The wild dog is no exception. On their own, injured dogs would quickly starve. In a team, they are never alone. Teamwork means fierce loyalty. Despite whatever handicaps they have, the injured dogs still join the hunt. They can't reach full speed, but their teammates look out for them. Wild dogs know that their survival depends on always working together. Like any great team, the dogs are multi-skilled and take responsibility for a wide variety of tasks. They dig the den. They stand guard. They nurture and develop the young. They find and hunt down prey. When it's time to hunt, one of the dogs will signal by yelping and moving around restlessly. The team motivator. One by one, they all join in the ritual of psyching each other up for the arduous task ahead. They use a technique of exuberantly pushing their muzzles into the side of each other's jaws. It's the dog's way of communicating that it's time to eat and a time to hunt. At the critical moment, they fall silent in almost perfect synchronicity. The decision is made, the support secured. Now for the task ahead. The team moves through the bush, jogging steadily for up to 30 kilometers at a time. Purposeful communication is important in any team. The pack communicates perfectly and instinctively. The first dog to detect prey stops suddenly and pricks up his ears. The rest of the team understands this noiseless signal and steps up its pace. The hunt is on. Eerily silent, focused and purposeful, they glide upwind, scenting their quarry, a herd of impala. The lead dog drops his head and with ears pinned back focuses on the target and picks the right moment to give the signal. The team is ready. Every team member perfectly positioned. Fearless. They move in. Working as a team, they display perfect coordination and high levels of discipline. They resist their urge to rush in and kill at random, and instinctively rely on their time-proven strategy. Uncannily, they stay with the target, knowing that each team member is focused on the same target. A target that obviously meets some unstated but commonly understood criteria. A weakness, a flaw, perhaps a distraction or a lapse in concentration, a moment of opportunity. the moment is right, they strike. The first dog leads the chase, and the others work to support him. The impala won't give up easily. Eventually, the lead dog may begin to tire. Notice how a fresh team member instinctively steps in, and once again, they gain the advantage. Once the prey is down, the kill is quick and effective. A pack of dogs can pull down an antelope and divide it up in just 30 seconds. They quickly devour the prey. This is not a polite Sunday dinner. They know that their competition is waiting for a break in their concentration, and they know that their task is incomplete. They eat quickly and ruthlessly. Injured dogs are allowed to eat first. If one dog had brought down the prey alone, it would have fetched the rest of the team before eating. It's not just philanthropy, it's common sense. On its own, a dog is vulnerable. Within a team, it can withstand competition and chase off larger predators. A solitary scavenging hyena, although bigger and stronger, is easily chased away. With the hunt successfully concluded, it's time to deliver. The dogs return to the pack that have remained behind and regurgitate their food for the young pups. They have worked towards their common purpose. They've achieved their goal. And now, as a team, they celebrate together in the common feast. The African wild dogs. The most feared team in Africa. A team that knows no bounds or boundaries. Alone, they would face extinction. Together, they thrive and survive as they pose us the question, are we a group of individuals occupying a common space, or are we a team? Are we like the single arrows that are easily broken, or are we strengthened by our unity?
All right, work like a dog. I'm sure there are powerful lessons there, isn't it? Yeah, we'll have your comments. I just want to wind up so that you can now comment if you can help me to connect this again. But whatever lessons you have learned there, keep them on the comment time. So let me conclude with a few slides, and then we can do that. So we're just learning from the book of nature, but I also just want to mention this, why you must opt for a family business instead of business partnership. You know, I cannot spend time talking about that. There are actually 10 reasons why you must avoid partnerships outside your family. But that will be another 1 hour presentation. So you need to build your business around your family core values. That's one of the key reasons why, if you want a business partner, it needs to be your husband and your children. Why? But why home industries? The first answer you may think is money. Well, we need money in the city, we need money in the country. But when children are involved in learning how to work in order to make and to manage money, the greatest income is character. So people need to understand why home industries are key. In fact, a home school is not complete without home industries. You know, if you can have a son and he's 18 years old and he doesn't know what to do with his life, what he got is a forced education at its best. Because by 18 years old, a child must master at least 1, 2, or even 4 trades. They need to master a number of trades, at least 4 trades that need be. They can use that to earn a living. They may have another passion, but as a parent, you need to teach them a trade. So they gain self-confidence, creativity, dependability, promptness, mutual respect, and they also become thinkers. So this is actually the main profit of having a home trade. It's not necessarily how much money you are putting in the bank. That is the added blessing, because we need the finances, to take care of ourselves, for the family, and also, as we have been learning, for evangelism. Raymond and Dorothy Moore, they also said, with low overhead, home businesses are America's fastest growing work scene with surprising profits and success. Home become manufacturing, sales, and service centers. And I'm sure maybe some of you also sitting here, you have already converted your homes into a manufacturing service and service centers. As they say, in USA alone, 38 million homes are actually running industries at home or businesses at home. And in the UK, over 2.8 million are having home businesses. So the home business is actually becoming the new normal. And home industries, what is it really? Something that tends to restore instead of dividing the family. This is what we call a home industry. Something that will bring you together. I was reading a story the other day in these websites where you learn about family life. It was talking about a woman. They were living in town, and the husband was always working. So the wife decided to start a business so that one day the husband will no longer need to go to work. So every time the husband will get a salary, the wife will invest it into a home industry. The salary part of that salary after paying the bills will go into the home industry. And 2 years down the line, the husband had to resign and to join the home industry. So the story was actually so exciting that in some situations it may not be straightforward, but it can be a mission or a goal to achieve. It may not be something that you can go tomorrow and say, oh, we are all at home, let's work from home. It may be a transitional, but there can be something that you become intentional and love it. And the home industry is also something that is a principled, meeting human needs more than mere wants. And something one can do well at home, also something that all of you in the family can enjoy doing it. Skill building and challenging, but learned quickly, simple yet creative, not requiring expensive equipment. And these are some of the examples of the home industry that you can do. Agriculture, you can learn the art of growing a crop, a single crop that can be profitable. Construction, and here it was supposed to be adding value. It's one word. Adding value to products. I saw this somewhere where some people who moved to the country, they don't have, the farm where they have the produce to sell. At the same time, they also, they don't have maybe the capital to buy things that are already produced. So what they were doing was adding value. They'll buy macadamia nuts and mix it with something else and make some healthy snacks and they sell. But by doing that, they were making 5 times the money that they spent to buy that macadamia nut. So adding value, it's another thing that one can do when you don't have the capital to have a farm rice. To grow plantain and wait for 2 years before you can start selling. You can buy plantains from other people and make healthy snacks from plantain. You add value, and then you also have a family trade as a family crafts, healthy foods. I was impressed in one of the places where I visited. The best soy milk and the best packaging, the best healthy shops that I saw there, they were actually owned by medical missionaries. I was like, wow, medical missionaries can do something. This is smart. You find that if you're looking for the best honey in town, well packed, you find the one who is packing it is a medical missionary who is living in the countryside. And I visited one of them. He had 1,000 beehives. And I was saying, in Malawi, when you have 4 beehives, you put them on status. You want everybody to see that you have some beehives. And this country dweller here, he's got 1,000 beehives. And he's supplying the city with the honey. is able to buy air ticket of medical missionaries like me to go and to do medical missionary training there with the money produced in the countryside. You know, when I saw that, they taught me a lot of lessons about this thing that we call minding your own what? Business. And what impressed me more, it was in Rwanda, you know, closer to the border with the DRC. When I visited their countryside, they are doing that business, him, his wife, and his children. Of course, they have employees, because if you have 1,000 beehives, you can't look after them alone. But one thing that I was impressed is the road to their home. It's about 3 kilometers from the tarmac road. They planted cabbage for the poor people to eat. You know, that they have reached that stage that they are able to be a blessing even to the community surrounding them. And when I looked at the bush, that where they live, it's exactly the same as my own bush. That's when I decided that I'm sitting on diamond, but I don't know it. You know, the same thing that we were saying yesterday, it's not what you are looking at, it's what you do what? What you see. He got a similar bush. It's not like he's got any advantages that I don't have. It's just the mindset and how they implemented the vision of country living. So industries are possible and are doable. Recycling is one of those things, and the Health and Wellness Center, it's also some of the things that one can actually do. So there are so many things that you can do together as a family, whether you are in the city or in the country. And this is a quote that we read yesterday, that you know the purpose of home industry is not just to feed yourself and have a lot of money, but also that you can freely give to the cause of truth, so that the great master may at last say, well done, good and faithful servant. So at the end of the day, one of the big positive side effects of the familypreneurs is doing life together. And doing life together is the secret of a happy family. That's our lesson tomorrow, when we'll be discussing about country life, country living, and family life as the power of doing life together. Amen.